Hello everyone, just want to make a quick video on how to read machine learning research paper efficiently. I think it's a very critical skill to master in order to learn some of the state-of-the-art models and machine learning methods. So without further ado, let's dive in. So one important thing to remember in reading research paper is that it's like peeling an onion. So please do not read paper end to end. You will get lost very quickly, and it will get really dry when you get stuck into those mathematical logical proofs. So the recommended way to read the paper is actually read the paper through multiple passes. Means you read multiple times but focusing on different parts of the paper. So I'm going to go over what are each of the passes that you should do. Pass number one, read the abstract with questions. A lot of times in abstract section, the author will actually answer the questions like what the author is trying to achieve, what are the proposed methods, what is the problem that the author is trying to solve. So have those questions in mind when you read the abstract, then you will have a pretty good understanding of what the paper is about, and that will set you up for the second pass. Pass number two, read the intro and conclusions. So it's an inside joke that in an ML research paper, the abstract, the introduction, and conclusion look very similar. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's usually the places where peer reviewers go to read to determine if the rest of the paper are worth reading. So as a reader, to learn about this machine learning model or this machine learning method, those are usually good places to go to read as well to understand what the whole paper is about. So pass number two, go to introduction and conclusion section. But there's this one section that you should skip or skim through, which is the related work section, because it usually assumes that you have a lot of background in the subject, which a lot of times, unless you're a domain expert, you usually don't have those background knowledge. The other inside joke is that related work sections are for related people, because it's sort of a technique where the author cites that everyone that could potentially be in a peer review group as a form of flattering, because the importance of a paper depends on the amount of citation. So it's a technique where users says, oh, I like all the reviewers' paper, let me put them in my related work section. So that's why you should skip those or skim through those. Pass number three is read the figures and experiments. A lot of times the paper can be summarized in one or two pictures. For example, the light GCM paper, the pictures basically summarize what the entire paper is about. And sometimes one or two experiment results will basically summarize the approach. So start with the figures in the paper and the experiment section. On top of that, it's also easier to understand what the paper is about when you actually know what happened in the result before diving into the proposed method, so you know what to focus on. So that's pass number three. Pass number four, now you're at the proposed method section. This is usually where all the mathematical or logical proof resides, those very scary sections. So don't get stuck into those math or logical proofs. Keep in mind that math or logical proofs sometimes are used just to make the paper look more rigorous to pass the peer reviews in all these research paper conferences. But it doesn't really serve you as a reader to understand things. A lot of times just reading the paragraphs, reading those words will help you understand better than reading those mathematical equations. And sometimes you can even go back to read those math carefully after you play with the code, maybe when you develop a better understanding of the approach. So that leads to the last pass, which is read the code and play with it. One of the best ways to learn is actually try to play with it. So you can take a model, you can find its implementation, and apply some of the very common popular data sets and just try the model yourself. There are plenty of resources for that. Sometimes the author will link the code the author implements on GitHub and link that to the paper. That sometimes you can go there. Sometimes you can go to like places like Towards Data Science, Paper with Code, or Kaggle to find the code for the paper, and then just try it, and that way you develop a better understanding. You can look at the model implementation section. For example, in PyTorch, how is the LightGCM model implemented in PyTorch? And then once you have that, then you have a better understanding of even the complex mathematical part of it. So that's pass number 5. So that's how I would generally approach reading a research paper. So hopefully this video is helpful. That's it. Thanks for watching.